When news breaks, it's only right that we bring you the true stories of the news. And here on Report Desk Africa, we also bring you the backstories, the things you did not hear about the news, the stories that were not told on screen. That is exactly what we do on Report Desk Africa. My name is Bernard Hakainde. Thank you for joining us. I'm not alone today.
And Blessings Musugu.
All right, now on the show today, we'll be taking you to Zambia, which is pretty much the biggest story on the continent. There's a new president in town, the new kid on the block, if you want to call him. And then a not too pleasant story, which will be running from here, Nigeria. That's talking about kidnappings, insecurity, and the latest one is the abduction from the military barracks. Stay with us here on Report Desk Africa. We'll be right back after this break. Thank you for staying with us on Report Desk Africa. Now we move straight to Zambia, where, well, they say, if at first you try and you fail, try again. And there is a new kid on the block, like I said earlier, the new Zambian president, talking about Hakainde Hichilema. Now, he has tried six times, I beg your pardon, and at the 7th time, he eventually became the 7th president of the Federal Republic of Zambia. Now, we know that he's gone through several trials and tribulations before becoming the president, and he was greeted and received with lots of celebration. But Blessings, there's a lot more that people don't know about Hakainde Hichilema.
Yeah, okay, so the new president is actually from what we call a humble background, where he had to struggle his way to the top. At some point, he had to get a government grant to go to the University of Zambia. And from there, he just, like they say, rose through the ranks and, became the owner of one of the biggest cattle ranches. And so they even call him the cattle boy. But aside all of that, he has gone through a lot of humiliation in the political sector, where he was subjected to a lot of arrests. And at some point, he was even arrested and accused of treason. And, he was kept in prison. And there was a lot of protests from both the country, people in the country and people outside the country, calling for an end to authoritarianism. And the funny thing is that happening actually made him a bit more popular, because after that he won a Freedom Award in South Africa, and that made people tilt towards him a little bit. So I can't say that actually worked in favor of him to some extent.
In favor of him to some extent. Now we will go straight to Zambia, where our will I call her boots on the ground, is there to give us more insight to the story. Lydia is there to join us from Zambia. Good evening, Lydia.
Good evening. Hi.
Hello, Lydia.
It's good to see you, Lydia. I think it's right to say congratulations on the new president that's in town right now, the cattle boy, as they call him. Yes?
Yeah.
Thank you.
All right. So, Lydia, tell us what exactly, how has it been covering the entire elections, from campaign to election and then to the inauguration day proper? How challenging, how difficult, how interesting did the whole process go?
Well, it hasn't been easy for him, so to say, because he has been facing a lot of challenges. Recently, we saw that even during the campaign season, this is the man that was given restriction. He didn't campaign freely as others were doing. And then we also saw that past election has been standing and failing, but yet he just stood due to say, until I get this position. So it has not been easy for him. This is the man that has been, as you said it earlier there, Blessing, you said that this is a man that has been, passed through a lot of challenges. He was once arrested, has been insulted, accused, and, called sort of names. But still the same, he did not back up to that stance to say, I'm not going to stand as a president of Zambia. Instead, he just stand through, and then now he won, and this was a celebration for him. This is a tribe that has been looked down upon in Zambia, because he is a Tonga person who believes in keeping cattle. This is why the name Cattleman comes in, because they keep cattle, and this, traditional. They have this other tradition that people to say he can't be the president, with this tradition and this type of language or tribe, he can't rule the nation. But again, he believed in himself, and then we saw that taking over from his, the founder of the party, who is Hanson Mazoka, and then he came in, and then he has been fighting to be the president of Zambia, and finally he got what he wanted, and everything just went well. So even his celebration, when he stood as a president, this is not him. This is not people like wanting the former president going out. Instead, this is people wanting him to be the president because they have seen the bright future, what he was talking about to be good for the country, as well as they also saw that this is the man that has been there several times. So why can't we give him a chance? So we saw that even the registration of voters, they came 7 million registration voters to see that they were eager to put someone in power. They were eager to change the government. So this is what has just been happening. So, and anyway, everything went according to what people thought to be. So everything went well, and then they were happy. This is why we saw a lot of people.
Lydia, before we continue, we would like to take a look at the report from the inauguration. That's before we go further. And so during the inauguration, in his statement, he said it's time for Zambians to be truly free. So we want to take a look at the report now by Omo Lola Ololade.
August 24th, 2020.
All right, we'll bring you that report shortly. But if we still have Lydia with us, Lydia, you still there? You're still there with us, right?
Yes.
Okay,
yes,
Lydia is still here. Now we'll bring you back that report shortly. Now, Lydia, we see that Hichilema, 59 years old, convincingly won the election, like you said, 2.8 million as against 1.8 million. Of the votes for the former president, quite interestingly. But we know that, there's been some kind of, some have called it a love relationship between both of them, if you know what I mean. Hichilema hasn't had it very, very easy under the former president. What do you think is going to be like now for him being the president of the country and his relationship with the former president?
The former president created something that were distant between them, because these people, they never used to meet. Even when they were called for debate, they could not come together and discuss on a certain matter. So even when handling in power, we were afraid, or we were scared to say, is he going to handle in power in a peaceful manner? Because we saw that there was enmity between them. These people, they were not talking in the way that people expected them to talk. So right now, the former Republican president, the fourth Republican president, Banda, who called them, we saw that before the handing of power, they had a meeting at the fourth Republican president, Mr. Banda, and then they called the two presidents to come together in order to have peace. And then whatever was discussed was not really, everything was not disclosed to the media, but we saw that afterward, there has been peace. So we saw that democracy won. They shook hands, and then even during the inauguration ceremony, he handed in power in a peaceful manner, and he followed all protocols. We were hoping to see that maybe there will be petition from His Excellency, the former president, Dr. Edgar Changwa, that there was nothing like that. He just handed in power in a peaceful manner without any persistence. Okay. As well as Hichilema also said a statement to say that there will be peace going forward. He does not have any grudge against the former Republican president. Okay.
I think we have that report now. We would like to play that report just to buttress what exactly it is that you are saying. So here's the report from the inauguration, and should I call it the handover from Edgar Lungu to Hakainde Hichilema.
August 24th, 2021 marks another remarkable day in the history of Zambia as the country witnessed the swearing-in of their seventh president, President Hakainde Hichilema, after a landslide victory over former President Edgar Lungu. The event also saw the new vice president of the country, Motele Nelumango, took an oath of office in the same manner.
I will faithfully and diligently discharge my duties and perform the functions in this high office, that I will uphold and maintain the Constitution and the laws of Zambia, and that I will dedicate my abilities to the service and welfare of the people of Zambia.
I will well and diligently discharge my duties and perform my functions under the Constitution of Zambia.
In his first speech as the incumbent president of the Republic of Zambia, Hichilema expressed gratitude to all Zambians for turning out to vote in great numbers and showing the world that power belongs to the people, while urging citizens to cooperate with him in achieving a peaceful and united country.
For your trust in a simple village boy who you have.
All right, Lydia, now that inauguration was a landmark event. So how was it for you as a reporter covering that event? Because that was like, you know, a life-changing, so to say, because that was historic. So how was it like for you as a reporter covering the event?
Well, it was amazing. It was something exciting. It was something that it was a wow as a media personnel to cover such an event, as well as to see that we were alive to witness that event, as well as we had some challenges of, you know, the people came in numbers. We saw that others were outside, so we're a bit worried about COVID challenges and something like that. But everything went accordingly, so that the Ministry of Health had set some protocols to say that everyone that comes in gets screened, and they had the COVID certificates for the delegates. But as well as there are some others, you know, that people were alone, so they could not really control other people there. Others were just given disposable masks, and, you know, they make sure that they do the hand sanitizer. But for us as media people, we did this in a peaceful manner, without harassment, without any boundaries. It was just something amazing to witness. It was very, very okay for us. Speaking from a media perspective, it was amazing.
All right then. All right. Thank you so much, Lydia. Thank you so much, Lydia, for giving us this report. And congratulations once again on the new president.
Thank you.
All right. I think at some point we should visit Zambia.
Yeah, I think we should.
Yes,
I wish I was there at the inauguration.
Yeah. All right. Now, moving on back to Nigeria, motherland, and for not too pleasant stories. Now, suspected bandits, or should we call them terrorists, as some will call them, have attacked the NDA, that's the Nigerian Defense Academy, in Kaduna, northern Nigeria, killing 2 officers and abducting another senior officer. According to eyewitnesses, the bandits came in large numbers in the early hours of Tuesday.
And aside from the officers killing and kidnapping, some others sustained gunshot injuries and are currently receiving treatment at the NDA hospital. Now, the attack on this military facility comes amidst heightened insecurity in the northwest, with Kaduna State at the epicenter. Now, before we go further, let's take a look at this report.
There seemed to be no end in sight to the spate of insecurity in the country as armed men said to be bandits invaded the Nigerian Defense Academy in Kaduna in the early hours of Tuesday, killing 2 officers and abducting 1. An incident the spokesman for the academy, Major Bashir Moj Tijira, attributed to compromise in the security architecture of the academy.
I think there has been an absence in looking at the protection in-depth of the Nigerian Defense Academy. What are the surveillance components? What are the testing components? And where are the access control components? Because for you to gain entrance into any military formation, you need to have passed through layer of protection. Layer of protection in the sense that if you are successful in beating the first man on the gate, you successfully beat the second man on the gate, you should not beat the third man on the gate. Because if we look at this physical security mechanism effectively, I think those guys that carried out this attack wouldn't have succeeded.
Reacting to this, President Muhammad Buhari declared that Tuesday's heinous attack launched by elements of Boko Haram, an NDA facility, will only buoy the country's military action to totally eliminate evil in the country. That same Tuesday night, gunmen invaded and attacked Yewen Zangam community close to the permanent site of the University of Jos, killing about 35 people.
Well, a very sad one coming from northern Nigeria, particularly from the military base where we have the Nigerian Defense Academy. Now, joining us from Federal Capital Territory is Amadine Uyi, our bureau chief in Abuja. Amadine, good evening. It's good to have you around with us.
Good evening, Amadine.
Good evening, Bernard. I want to see your shirt. It's beautiful.
Okay. Amadine, what message does this attack pass to the general populace concerning security? Now, we've seen bandits, as they are called, or terrorists, as others would like to call them, attack different places, churches, mosques, private places, but now this is an attack on a military facility. What message does this send to the populace in Nigeria?
I think it tells us clearly that we have become not only a laughing stock to the world, but also a laughing stock of ourselves. Because if you look at, sometimes I like to place Kaduna in context. Kaduna is the state located in northwest Nigeria, has the highest number of military facilities. As we speak, Kaduna has over 20 military organizations. It has over 14 military institutions. And yet, we see bandits running riots in that same state. It speaks volumes. It speaks volumes. It tells us that it's not just that we're not getting something right, we are absolutely getting it wrong. Because this is the Nigeria Defense Academy. It's not just an ordinary institution. It's the institution where our personnel are trained in military, their expected military requirements and academic requirements. And you have gunmen walk into that kind of facility, kill military personnel, abduct senior military officer. It shows that we have indeed become a laughing stock of the world.
Now, Amadine, showing that after following this event, the president condemned the act, and he said that what happened is like a morale booster for the security sector. Now, looking at what happened, it wasn't really a very pleasant event, and seeing that he will say that, is it something that is true, that it's actually a morale booster for the security sector? So it's, in other words, like it's going to motivate them to work harder and do better. But is it something that should we consider it as a morale booster, like he said?
The statement in itself is laughable, because how will it boost the morale of military personnel? How will it boost your morale when people walk into your house, people who do not have the capacity, who do not have the resources, who do not have the expertise, walk into your house and cut away your goods and property? How will it serve as a morale booster to you? In fact, is the opposite. But that is where we have found ourselves as a country, where we don't want to hold people to account. Certain people have failed in their responsibilities. And what we should do as a country, as it is done in neighboring countries, which is the global best practice, is to hold those who have failed in their responsibilities to account. But let me paint a scenario for you. Those gunmen walked through a community, one or two communities, unchecked, in a state that is expected to be facing an emergency situation, insecurity, unchecked, walked into a military formation or a military barracks and perpetrated these crimes. And you say it's a morale booster. It tells us that we need to rejig our security architecture. We have said it clearly here on News Central that government needs to rejig its security architecture. You talked about also another attack in Jos. There was a curfew. You know what it is for there to be a curfew? That in as much as during the curfew time, the time the curfew is not in session, people are allowed to move. There is a very strong presence of security. But still, these gunmen came into a community, not 2 a.m., not 3 a.m., 8 p.m., when the curfew was meant to be enforced, because the curfew was meant to start a dusk to dawn curfew. Entered the community, killed over 35 people, set buildings ablaze, so we hear that some people were burned alive and escaped without anybody. You see, this is how bad the situation has become? Are we going to look at ourselves in the face and tell ourselves the gospel truth that we are in a position where decisive actions have to be taken, or do we still keep on pampering these issues in order to protect the image of one or two personalities, organizations?
It is sad.
So like we said, people have to be held accountable.
True.
For reneging in their duties and obligations to the public.
Okay.
Because it is government's primary responsibility to protect the public.
Okay, Amadine, I'm sorry, but I may need to cut in because of time constraint. But before we let you go, Amadine, in 1 minute, we've been watching you and your reports from here in Lagos, and we see how you've been covering the North and the insecurity challenges of the North. This is personal to you, Amadine, personal question. How has it been, basically, seeing these insecurity issues and challenges going on in the northern part of the country? And personally for you, what has it been like covering these stories?
It's been heart-wrenching because we are retrogressing. 2014, 2015, I covered the Boko Haram incursion from the northern part of Borno towards the south, where communities like Goza, Michika, Uba, and others were being overrun by the insurgents. The Nigerian security architecture, the Nigerian federal government did re-strategize. And within 6 weeks, just before the general elections, almost all territories, if not for all territories that were taken by the insurgents.
Okay, I think, do you still have Amadine?
Sudan, South Sudan. But what we are seeing now is a retrogression, which means that we have to re-strategize so that our boys, our boots on the ground, can apply that expertise for which they have been trained.
All right. Okay, Amadine, thank you so much. We really appreciate your contribution from the North, and we pray that you get the strength to continue the good work that you're doing for us.
Thank you so much, Amadine.
Thank you.
All right, now we go straight to Chidima Uwosu, who would throw to us the forecast stories that we've been tracking this week and that we believe will make headlines next week. Chidima, it's good to have you with us.
Thank you so much for having me, Bernard. Thank you, Blessing.
Hello, Chidima.
All right, as usual, we will be keeping you up to date with recent happenings across the continent, one of which is the unfortunate incident, the attack of the Nigerians Defense Academy by unknown gunmen. Investigations are still going on about this, and of course, there has been an appeal by the Ministry of Defense saying that media should just put out positive coverage. This goes amidst reports concerning the fact that officers placed in custody of the CCTV were asleep. We will be bringing you updates on that story in our subsequent reports. And of course, there has been breakthrough research in curbing malaria gained success in Burkina Faso and Mali. As we all know, Burkina Faso and Mali are two countries greatly affected by malaria. There has been recent research has shown that in West Africa, about 6,000 children between the ages of 15 to 17 months die from malaria. We'll be bringing you subsequent reports in our upcoming reports.
Okay, thank you so much, Chidima. It's the malaria for me. I know what mosquito has done to me in this life, so it'd be impressive if that breakthrough actually works.
Yes, in the case of insecurity, you would agree with me that the state of insecurity in Nigeria still poses a question. I mean, just 5 months before now, about hundreds of students were recently kidnapped.
Okay, all right. Thank you so much, Chidima. And then for the insecurity as well, we definitely do hope that something is done sooner than later.
I mean, we have seen a lot of analysis paralysis, so to say, and so we're hoping that a solution is, in sight.
All right. Well, so has been the show, and we do hope that things get better in Africa generally, not just in Nigeria.
Yeah, and we hope that the news about the malaria cure is actually true, because it's going to save a lot of lives.
Save a lot of lives, it will. Thank you so much for being with us on Report Desk Africa. This has been the show. Stay with us again for another episode or another edition of the show. Same time next week on News Central Television. You can join us on all our platforms, social media handles as well. I'm Bernard Hakainde. Join us again next week.
And Blessings Masugu. Thank you so much for joining us.